We're seeing you now in the movie The Iron Claw. Was there something about the film or embodying Harley Race, the legend, that made you want to be a part of this movie?
I mean, everything, just from everyone who's part of the cast, and especially being involved with Sean Durkin again. I worked with Sean in a previous project called Dead Ringers, which was an Amazon show starring Rachel Weisz. So that's how we kind of met. So I mean, I just want to get go. Anything Sean does, I'm on board.
How familiar then were you with the wrestling world and maybe even Harley before doing this?
Yeah. So great question. I wasn't really that familiar with like old school wrestling, like back with the Von Erichs or even Harley. I knew a little bit about it. I definitely didn't know Harley Race. I mean, that's the one thing. But after like doing my research and talking to people and getting emails from people once I was cast, that's when the work started and all the research. So I mean, it was a lot of fun.
I can only imagine. Was that what you used, maybe old footage of him and things like that to craft your voice affectation and your mannerisms, or did they just let you be Kevin as Harley?
Well, I'm kind of both. So I from the moment I was cast from Sean and casting Susan Shopmaker, who's great, and her whole office. So once I was cast, I just tried to find everything I could online, mostly YouTube, about Harley. I even bought like a Harley's disc set, I think, from his own site. But on top of that, to get the voice, what I did was I took the audio from a couple of his YouTube interviews and just put it on my iPhone and just played it every single morning when I did my morning walks or my runs. So every single morning, I was just getting on a loop too, like his mannerisms, how he spoke, and that's what really helped me when it came down to like shoot.
Did Sean then give you a sort of a range to be Kevin as Harley then, or he wanted you to be as close to the individual who lived as possible?
No, I think he wanted Harley. So I think he wanted Harley. So like for example, uh, in the movie, one of the things I do is we recreate one of Harley's speeches where he's talking to the camera, speaking about the Von Erichs and blah blah blah. And the only note Sean really gave me was that's the first time he did it, and this is no other like prior, sitting down talking about it. He just said, just give me a little bit more like, like Harley. And then once he gave me that note, then we were good.
Were you familiar with any of your co-stars then before working with them on this film?
I knew Aaron, who plays Ric Flair. I knew him from Dead Ringers. He worked at Dead Ringers. Other than that, I didn't personally know, Zach or Harris or, Jeremy, or Holt or anyone personally. I met him, but I mean, not beforehand.
There are some epic cast members to this. What was it like being on set with all of them surrounded by legendary talents?
Yeah, so I gotta say, especially the scene that I'm in with, it's basically me and Zach, and then Harris is in at the end and Holt. But I mean, for the most part, we had to rehearse too, prior to they do like wrestling, the moves and all that stuff, and I can't wait for you to see it because it just looks so real. But so this when I first met Zach, we had like a little like wrestling or like boxing miniature ring. We rehearsed in Baton Rouge, and he was great. I mean, great to work with. He was on board with every single thing we did. He was, I mean, such a professional, such a perfectionist, and just, I mean, the physicality. I'm sure you've seen the stills and even the video of him, but I mean, just in terms of an actor, he was so giving and so willing just to go for it every single take. And that's obviously Zach is amazingly talented, but I also give credit to the whole cast and Chavo Guerrero, who is was the wrestling and everything with this film. So he was like he really choreographed all the wrestling moves, and just having him there on set to say Harley was a little bit more like this, or with Zach's role, Kevin. So he it was just such a good insight. I mean, it was amazing.
Goodness, there are some incredible scenes throughout the film, certainly. Was there a specific scene that you're most excited for people to get to watch, or not able to give too much
I
away? I
mean,
mean,
I don't want to give it away too much, but here's what I'll say about the movie because a lot of people might go into this thinking this is a wrestling movie, this is a sports movie. Let me tell you, it's a movie about family. It's a movie about brothers, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited for people to see the great performances that these guys just gave. In terms of bringing the Von Erich, family to life. I mean, it's truly amazing. And I mean, every scene, once you see it, you're really gonna, you know, get involved in the story. It's just so good.
must have been just exceptional. There wasn't maybe even a need to shake off a long day of filming because, yes, you're embodying this character, but at the same time, you know, you're around so many exceptional individuals, and there's so many stories to tell about their lives and their jobs that they've been apart from as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say though, that's part of it definitely, and that's always fun. Uh, on the flip side though, too, it's such for what we did here, such an intense environment because production in A24 and Sean, they really rebuilt the Sportatorium, which is the famous wrestling hall in Dallas. I mean, it really looked like you were stepping into that. So just the intensity of filming with you have 200 other people there as fans who were great. Just and he really brought the whole scene alive. So I mean, just that whole part and just dealing with great actors was just amazing.
I can only imagine just feeling so surreal day after day. And we talked about your embodying Harley, and a little bit about what it was like for you to enter into his life. Talk about being in the makeup and hair trailer and sort of crafting the
Well,
look for Harley.
yeah. So that's funny you bring that up because I guess when I was cast, so we started filming this time last November. Like I think the first shot went off in like October, like end of October. So from like the end of August on, Sean had requested that I grow my facial hair out. So by the time I got to set, I literally had like a full beard. So they just basically shaved it into like Harley's like handlebar mustache because they really wanted to make it look authentic. In terms of the hair, we had to dye my hair about 10 times because they wanted that certain darkness. And I didn't know this, but they say you can always go darker, you can't go lighter, which I wouldn't know that. So that was fun. The makeup and wardrobe people were just amazing. I mean, once you see the costumes for this movie, in particular mine, they basically recreated Harley's famous robe, red, white, and blue with the boots. I know like a lot of the pieces came from like different parts of the area of no, I'm sorry, of the world. Like the heels might have came from Colombia, the leather from Texas. So it just was amazing. And in terms of the crew, I mean, just top notch and just great to work with.
What was it like, or what did you take away, I should ask, from your experience working on this film, whether it's personal or professionally?
I took away a lot, but I guess the one thing I took away is I would say that, hard work does pay off. And especially in terms of my story, being at this, day in and day out and having a break like this and having to work with a director, writer, and producer like Sean Durkin, and then to work with such amazing talent. I guess taken away is just, how fortunate you are and, how great it is to have that chance, and I guess that's my biggest takeaway. It was such a great experience. I'll never forget it.
I can only I can only imagine the memories that you share from working on this epic film. What do you hope? We talked a little bit about this as well too. What do you hope lingers with people that watch this film? Clearly, you said it's not a sports movie. It's about family. It's about brotherhood. Is there something specific, or maybe the Von Erich legacy that you hope lingers with people?
Yeah, so definitely the Von Erich legacy. Kevin's great. He was at the world premiere and he's been around. He's back in Dallas now with his, I think his two sons are going to start wrestling again. Definitely the Von Erich legacy. And that's one thing I want people to go back on and look up and see what great icons they were. But I also want people to take away a sense of family and the importance of family and the importance of the day to day and having family in your life, something as simple as that, and not to take it for granted.
I think that's a great legacy, especially the tragedies that faced the Von Erich family. So I think live life to the fullest is also maybe a lesson people
Yeah,
should truly do as well.
absolutely.
What's next for you, Kevin? Have you been working on anything other
Well,
recently?
well, no, because there's
Post
been a
strike.
strike. No, as a matter of fact, too, the strikes just started around when the show I was on in Amazon, Dead Ringers, came out. So,
Yeah.
like, Dead Ringers came out, I think, in April, and the strike, the WGA, I think, first started in May, maybe May 7th. So, I'm within 2 weeks. The writers went on strike, and if you don't have writers, you're not going to have any shows. And then the actors went on strike following that. So, I mean, 6, 7 months, there's been nothing. So I guess my answer to that is I don't know. We'll see what comes up next. But now that the strike is over, I expect good things to happen. Who knows? Maybe a Marvel movie.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed. We'll see what Zack Snyder can do.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the wonderful work you do on our screens, whether it's television or film?
Yeah. So thanks. I just wanted to say to all the fans and everyone out there watching this that please go see The Iron Claw. It is an amazing movie. It's an amazing experience, and it is such an ensemble, not only from the cast but from the whole production team down. Really, such a team effort, and I'm not just saying that. And I want you to experience it in the theater because it's amazing. And then just take away what you take away what you're going to take away. But I think you're going to take away a lot.